Hello. Hello. Good evening, everybody, and good morning, or wherever you are at the moment. So, yeah, unfortunately, there's some conflicts from. I set up the live chat uh, from my mobile, and I tried to start it from my laptop, and it didn't work. So there's still some technical glitches. Next time, I'll set it up from my computer directly. Sorry, it's a bit bright, but it's still dark outside, so can't really show you my neighborhood at the moment. Hello, James. Hello, Harold. At the moment is 6 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I'm gonna try to set my cell phone somehow in a decent location, maybe. So, yes, so we are. I am in Crete again. So this is the second time we do the live interview from Crete in Greece. It's the southernmost island in Europe. So temperatures are okay. It should be around 70 Fahrenheit, roughly at the moment. So it's kind of a balmy winter or autumn. But we are in lockdown. So as most Europe is, people are confined in their apartments and houses, which is kind of limiting if you live in a city. But since I'm on an island, it's actually quite okay. It's not too bad, you know. I managed to find this apartment. This time I wasn't in a hurry like last time, but I arrived on the island just one day before the lockdown again. But this time I managed to arrange my accommodation beforehand. So I had this friend that runs a B&B kind of solution here on the island, and I made some I talked with him, and I arranged an apartment before my arrival, so everything was set up. I just moved in this very little cute apartment for myself, and for a very reasonable price. And I was a conscious choice. Instead of spending my lockdown back in my little hometown in near Milan, which is not that good for me. I just came here quickly to Greece again, to spend my lockdown. So it's gonna be another probably another 2 weeks, and then they're gonna ease the lockdown. So hopefully we'll be able to roam around a bit more. I'm happy to see that the quality is good. I'm streaming with my mobile, and I have my laptop in front of me. It's so weird. I can't use my laptop, and I have to hold my cell phone. Maybe you can see it from here. Is it here? I'm holding my cell phone in front of my laptop. It's crazy. Technology glitches. It's used to be my job, so I'm actually kind of used to it. So yeah, happy to be here again for Garage Night. So if you have any questions, recently I've been trying. I had the chance to try the new KTM 890 Adventure. which was first time trying something kind of smaller compared to my Bronte, which is a KTM 1190 Adventure. The old, the old 1190 Adventure. Unfortunately, is after trying the 890, it felt like my 1190 was like an antique. It was very disappointing to go back to my old beast. So the okay, so what happened? So I was pretty much minding my own business at home. I was waiting for summer to go by. I usually travel during off seasons, or I try to travel during off season, and I was waiting for the summer to go by, and KTM Austria contacted me, and they had this project for the launch of the new KTM 890 Adventure. So they called me up, and me and another traveler went to Mattinghofen, where is the KTM headquarters in Austria, and we pretty much took two brand new 890 Adventures and rode through Italy, and we arrived in Greece. Funny enough, we rode to Greece again for me, and we got to test the bike. And then once we got to Greece, we spent a week riding with some journalists that came from Europe to test the bike as well. So yes, so in all fairness, it was the bike specs compared to 1190 and 1090s are somehow similar in terms of like the bike weight and the fuel tank capabilities and so on, but the bike feels so much lighter. It's unbelievable. So it's like a totally different segment almost. So let me see what you guys write. Yeah, so the R and the S, there's not much difference in terms of like the engine wise, obviously, and there's some small differences, like the ground clearance obviously is slightly more on the R, I think, because the suspensions are slightly taller, and the seat height is slightly higher on the R. But for instance, they gave me the S model, so the 890 Adventure, the S model, and I put the power part seat, so it automatically went up. So it's in I know the measurements in millimeters, so so the standard is 830 millimeters to 850 millimeters. So the seat height is actually pretty okay, and then with the power part it goes to 870. So even for a tall person, it's actually pretty okay. So I'm 6'2", 6'3". So I'm in the taller realm, and I was okay riding the bike. So I did return the bike, so I'm back with my 1190. So yes, that was a shock. So I rode with the 890 for almost 3 weeks. So I spent 1 week in Austria, and then we rode across Italy, and then I rode around Greece for another week with a journalist. So I spent 3 weeks riding the bike, and it was amazing. I was really easy to ride. And then I went back home and took my 1190, and it felt like riding a tank. Like It was so heavy. Uh, yes, with the slimmer tank. So the tank is now sits at the bottom of the bike. It gives a nicer seat position in a way, because you don't have to keep your legs so open all the time. It's more off-roady in a way, because it's like the enduro bikes, they have like a slimmer tank, so it's easier in that sense to hop on and to ride, and maneuverability is improved as well, because the change in directions and handling while off road is was much better than the 1190. And it's hey Carlos, how are you? This is a guy from Colombia, guys, from Bogota. Um, yeah, so I was the weight is 196 kilos dry weight. So with a 20-liter tank, it's roughly 215 kilos, something like this, which is in pounds is maybe almost I think it's 400 pounds, something like it's basically like the weight of the 1190, right? So you will expect the same behavior in terms of weight, but that was it's like day and night. For me, it was like day and night. It's like way lighter. Um, yes. So the handling of the bike is much better. So the first part of the trip, so we took the bike to the Italian Alps. So it's the mountain range that goes that divides pretty much Austria and Italy. So there's like a pretty big mountain range. I mean, it's not too tall, but it's around uh, the tallest peak is 12,000 feet. So it's decent height, and but the roads are amazing. It's like a twisty roads and sharp turns and so on. And I mean, it was incredible. The bike, it feels like it was designed for these kind of turns, and it's so much lighter to, you know, when you do the change of directions. And I was kind of I wasn't used to the 21 inches wheel in front. So my 1190 is the S model, so it has the 19 inches wheels, and I mean it's more roady, more road oriented, but I didn't feel like too much of a difference, sincerely. And but the weight, having the weight so low, it was so much easier to handle, you know, like to change direction, uh, like sharp turns and so on. So it was a pleasure to ride for sure. The flywheel weight on this, I'm just trying to read the question that William wrote. I didn't like the flywheel weight on the 790, too light. 890 is supposed to adjust that. It was really easy to bounce the 790 off the limiter without intending to. Um, the flywheel weight. I'm not sure what that is. Sorry, I'm not a native speaker, so I'm never heard that word, flywheel weight. Can you rephrase that for me, please? Um, I think it feels lighter because of the weight distribution, because the weights of the two bikes are like 10 kilos apart, right? So you wouldn't expect the bike to be so different from the 1190 and to the 890, you know. Oh, slows the revs. Okay. So at a low, um, I also had the chance to try the 790 while I was in Greece. The rev limiter. Okay. I kind of push the bike quite a bit. Like the A90, I just it's that's the other thing. It was different for me. It was a first for me, because I rode with my 1190 for 5 years, 5.5 years, and it was my bike, so I had to take care of the bike. And I kind of, for the first 2.5 years, I kind of pushed the bike because I didn't know how long I had to ride for. But then I started to see like to think in the long run, to like the longevity of the bike. So I kind of started to take it easy on the bike. So in that sense, the bike lasts very long and it still runs and is okay. So when they gave me this 890, I had to return it in a week. So I didn't care, in a way, how I was treating the bike. So I kind of, whatever I could do to the bike, I did it. So I didn't really limit my throttle control in that sense, and fuel consumption and stuff like that. So kind of, yeah, I hit the limiter a few times, and I can't really compare it with the other, the 790. I think I feel that the engine is it felt rounder, like a more fuller in that sense compared to the 790, for instance. Uh, they did, I think they did add 20% rotating mass to the 890 engine. So not sure if that's the reason of this kind of a feel of a more flowy engine on the 890, but the 790 feels definitely more crispier, like more more lighter in that sense. So I feel that the 890 was more complete engine in that sense. That I could feel the differences. Uh, Also on my bike, I had the quick shifter. So when you have the quick shifter, you kind of you don't lose much momentum when you push the bike a lot. So it's you hit the limiter quite a few times sometimes, like uh, you don't get the right revs, so you're just like it just screams, and then you pop the other gear in, and yeah. So I didn't really feel that lack of. It was more like my mistakes sometimes, like not putting the gear uh, in the right revs. So, but in that sense, the engine felt great while riding. Actually, the 890 had a bit more push, and especially the low revs have is better delivery in the low revs, more round engine. So even the low RPMs are there's a better distribution, better delivery of the power. So smoother riding. Um, yeah, uh, I couldn't like in sense like to see the differences between the 890 and the 1190. I could definitely feel the difference because the 1190, even when you put the throttle control, for instance, throttle control is the other key aspect of the between the bikes. So you gotta play with that, since if you use, for instance, street mode or sport mode on a 1190, there's so little room for mistakes in the throttle control because it pushes all the time. So there's so much power. It's such a powerful engine that it's hard to control at lower revs because it always pulls. While the 890, being a smaller engine, and you can still ride in. There's a rally mode, which is I believe is optional. Like it's already pre-installed, but you have to add the software part when you buy the bike. So with the rally mode is the snappiest of the riding modes. But if you're riding street or off-road, the throttle response is so much docile. Say it's smoother delivery. So at low RPMs, that's what you want. Like it just like it just goes. It flows so well, and that was the other difference I noticed when I hopped back on the 1190. That 1190 doesn't really give you much room for mistakes. Like you can't really open the full throttle all the time with the 1190. While instead with the 890 and the 790s are machines that, you know, even if you open full throttle, nothing happens. Like most, like the worst case scenario, your front wheel pops up. But with the 1190, if you open full throttle, you're sometimes there are some big troubles. Like if you don't have room enough in front of you, it's a big beast. Is a huge engine. So the A90 it was definitely a more pleasurable experience. I didn't feel my life to be jeopardized every time I opened the throttle. So it's definitely a more comprehensive experience for any rider, I would say. Uh, Let me read a few other questions. What is the weight? The weight is it's 196 kilos. So I'll leave you the conversion in pounds for you guys. I'm not. It's a pound is 0.46 kilos. So it's kind of like you gotta double that almost. So 196 is it will be like 400 and something pounds. Okay, 410 pounds dry weight. So let me see other questions. To chase in the. Oh yeah. No, Harold is claiming that I'm a very good rider. Mm, I'm not sure about that. He said that he had to chase me through traffic in Italy. That's another thing because when I'm in Italy, I go back in the Italian Italian driving mode, so which is not very recommended in other countries. Is Italians drive very aggressively, but only in Italy, right? So it's usually more conservative when I'm in other countries. The 890 quick shifter, did the 890 quick shifter feel much different from the 1290 quick shifter? I never tried the 1290 quick shifter. So what they installed on my 890 Adventure was the quick shifter plus. So I don't have the quick shifter on my 1190, and I never tried the quick shifter on the 1290, so I can't tell. Can't help you with this, but I did try the quick shifter on the 390 Adventure, which I had the chance to try while I was in Austria. So when I flew to Austria and met the other people from the project, they gave us like 390 adventures to ride around the little town over there and explore Salzburg and so on. And the bike had a quick shifter plus, and I could definitely feel the difference from the little 390 Adventure quick shifter to the 890. Yeah, it was the quick shifter on the 890 was quicker and more precise and easier to use. So downshifting was easier, and yeah, just better. And on the 890 Adventure, I think one of the improvement was the quicker, the shorter lever excursion. So to change gear is a shorter movement of the lever. So it was better. It was in terms of like controlling the bike and going when you go the fast. It's less movement of your feet. So it's quite better in that sense. Uh, oh, the flywheel is the Volano. Thank you for the translation, Mike. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I think they changed the construction of the flywheel. So yes, it's a different constructions. For all the detailed specs, I might have to look into that. I'm not entirely sure, but I remember a few of the information they were explaining to the journalists. So hopefully I can give you more insight about that. Did you compare the 790 to the off-road and the technical terrain? Yes. Um, compare you. Okay, so yes, two questions. So I did try the 790 and the 890 off-road, and they were quite the same, I would say. They're very similar. The 890 has a better engine. Okay, so it did feel better engine-wise. So the 790, like I know it sounds weird, but you can feel that is less powerful. So you use the throttle a bit more, while the 890 is a smoother experience and more flowy engine. So even off road, when you just have to play a little bit, not like a steady kind of but you play like when you ride aggressively, you gotta play with the throttle a bit more. I felt that the 890 was uh, a better engine in that sense. In terms of weight, I'm not sure actually if there's a weight difference between the two models. Um, like in terms of like size, I believe they're kind of the same. But in terms of like the feeling, definitely felt better with the 890. Um, didn't feel much difference in between in handling the bike. Uh, definitely felt better on the 890. I can definitely I can tell you that it's better feel. Like in terms of engine, it was a better delivery and off road. And on road, I mean, it's more. I think there's more torque, so the bike goes faster. Um, if you put rally mode was really something that I had the sport mode and the street mode. So the bike has the same configuration as of the 790. So it has off-road, rain, street, and the optional rally mode. And the rally mode was as a sub menu, which has the throttle response, which is street, off-road, and rally again. So you enter rally mode, and then there's three options, which is street, off-road, and rally, and then you put rally, and then the rally is the more pungent one, and then from there you go back to the main menu and you can select the sleep control, and then I'm now going to answer to the other question, that is the traction control of the two bikes. So the sleep mode is basically the active traction control that is available on the bike. So you can regulate while riding. So once you select the rally mode, and then you select one of the three throttle response, you go back to the main menu, to the main whatever preferences menu that you have on the dash, and with the arrows, the same controlling arrows that you have to navigate the menu, you can choose the throttle response, the sleep control. So from 1 to 9, you go up. While you ride, while you accelerate, you can control that. So it's very easy to control. And there's a big number on the dash that tells you in which kind of settings you're running. And I will say that from 9 to 7, it's pretty much almost full traction control engaged. So that's the wheel will not spin that much. Then from 7 to 3, that's when the thing starts to slip a bit. And then from 3 to 1, you basically no traction control at all. So with the 1190, I didn't have this luxury of selecting how much traction control I used. So I was rather on or off. And you had to stop the bike to disengage the traction control and also the ABS. So in this sense, the new technology and in that sense, KTM worked in in favor of not having to stop the machine to change those settings. And so you can basically modify your configuration on the fly. And yeah, it was better. Traction control on the 1190, it works all the time. So I usually ride without. So I completely disengage the traction control and ride without. So because it doesn't allow you to do much. It's a very good during when it rains. I usually enable it when it rains, but otherwise I learn once you disengage it or once you disable it and then you start riding with that. You never really notice the difference because you always you have to be concerned about your rear wheel spinning. So you kind of you're gentle with the throttle sometimes in turns. So yeah, aside from that, like the 890 was very much customizable in terms of riding experience. You can pretty much tweak every settings of the bike, and I personally love that fact because if you like that kind of stuff, and if you're like once you understand that the machine it's like it comes in a box, okay, and then you open a box and then there's so many other little boxes inside, so uh, you can choose what like whatever configuration is more suitable for you at the moment. So if it rains, if it's windy, if it's off-road, if it's gravel, if it's mud, if it's sand, if it's whatever, if it's ice, that's what you want when you travel. I believe it's a perfect um, uh, it's a great thing to have when you changing terrains constantly. It's you want a bike that allows you to that gives you some help in the sense that you have peace of mind that you open the throttle and the bike doesn't go crazy. It's 100 horsepower. I think it's 105 horsepower on the 890 Adventure. So it's a lot of power, and with the 1190 it was 150, so it's a lot of power for a motorcycle. And yeah, so let me see another question. The quick shifter was okay. 890 was supposed to be much improved. I think it was the 890 quick shifter is better. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can suggest is once the bike is out, you go try, because you know everybody has his own kind of feeling experience on the thing. So it's better to go try and see yourself. Clearly, it's not like one of the biggest differences of the two bikes, I think, but I believe it has been improved. So yeah, the traction control I got there. Off-road, yes. Is it fast enough for your 1190? Okay. So for going around the world, I have to say that the 890 will be a better machine. So when I bought my 1190, there was no other bikes. There was no smaller options. So when you go around the world, that your focus is to uh, go everywhere. Like you want to go in all possible situations with the minimal effort. And the 1190, no minimal effort on that with that bike is a beast. And imagine you're always traveling with fully loaded. So the weight, it's almost 300 kilos overall. So it's 600 pounds or something. Okay, so it's a lot of weight. um, so you want a motorcycle that feels lighter, at least. If maybe it's not lighter, but it feels lighter. And the 890 Adventure has everything. In that sense, is the perfect travel machine because plenty of power. Like it's a very powerful machine. Not as powerful as it doesn't have 150 horsepower. So, okay, so it's you definitely feel the difference between the two machines. But you don't want to deal with that power all the time. So you get used to everything. You know, you can ride with a 125cc around the world, and that's fine. But we're talking about like different realm of motorcycles, and you don't need 150 horsepower. It's good to have 150 horsepower when you need it, but 100 horsepower, plenty. So for the feel that the bike gives, the A90 Adventure is a better motorcycle for going around the world. My travels, do you think is about the... So I'm trying to answer Carlos, which asks, what do you think about the tank in both the 790 and the A90? I believe that the tanks are the same. It's 20 liter plus 3, I think. 23-liter fuel tank or 20-liter fuel tanks. It's the same tanks as the 790. So there's another question. I'm mostly concerned for the route from Egypt to Muscat, Oman, passing through desert and extreme hot, dry weather. Well, in that sense, the A90 was better because the new construction with the parallel twin engine doesn't heat up your seat anymore. So that was another great thing in comparison with the 1190 or the 1290 Adventure, that you don't have, because the V-twin, one of the heads was underneath your seat. So with the parallel twin, both heads, I mean the head points forward, so there's no heat. You don't need the heat shields underneath the seat and so on. For the first, I think, 70 Ks from Austria to the Dolomites, to the Alps, we got stuck in traffic for like 2 hours. So it was like first gear, second gear, and I was in Austria, so I couldn't overtake. It was just stuck in traffic behind cars, and the fan kicked in, and so the bike was running hot, and I didn't feel anything underneath my seat. That was a pleasurable surprise. Not having the seat heat up constantly like the 1190, which is probably one of the flaws of the bikes, but it's just the shape, the design of the engine. It's just the V-twin, so the engine is underneath your seat. So, but in the 890 was much better because there was no heating, no cooking of your bum. All right, let me see another question. So in that sense, okay. So in that sense, if you're crossing the desert, the A90 Adventure is much better than the 1190 or 1290 Adventure because it heats up less. Of course, I'm talking about like the rider doesn't get heat up with the bike. I'm curious. William asks, I'm curious if some of the hot weather fueling issue were addressed. Hot weather fueling issue between us. We had the 1090, 1190, 1290. We all have fueling and fuel pump issues at high temp. Not sure what you're referring to, but with the 1190 that I had, I rode through Honduras, and it was 46 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it was 110 Fahrenheit. That was pleasurable. That was really hot. So I rode from Nicaragua and Honduras and El Salvador. It was one of the hottest places I've rode in my life. So from 43 to 46 degrees constant. So there was a lot of heat, and the bike was heating up obviously, and I had to constantly pour water on myself to just stay cool, even though even the water was becoming hot in a second at those temperatures. Never had fuel pump issues, so not sure if there's an issue with the later models, but um, I hope it has been addressed. A vapor lock, yes. Okay, I heard about that. So there's a so the fuel tank is first of all is black and is plastic. So when the heat like hits the tank, there's like there's a hose that releases the fumes of the fuel, trapped inside the tank. So if that little hose gets blocked, the I heard that the fuel gauge starts play up or something like this. That's what I read. I never had this. I think I had a couple of times, but it wasn't in extreme weather. It just because of the bad fuel. So once I was in actually Bolivia and I had bad fuel flashing, like the fuel gauge started flashing at me, and that was because of the fuel, the fumes. Uh, I think there was a sensor measuring something inside the tank, and it started to play up, and the fuel gauge started flashing. So it was just sometimes it's the fuel quality, I believe, is not necessarily the fuel gas, like the fuel pump, but in that sense, like you have fuel pump issues. So the fuel pump stopped working. That's what you mean, or the fuel gauge started playing up or something. But usually, like if you, what about like what if you open the fuel tank and the gases exit the fuel tank, something. Uh, yeah, these are more like technical things, but I didn't really have problem with the fuel tank. Oh, KTM solutions to replace fuel pump. So you have fuel pump. Okay, fuel pump issues. Uh, I'm literally running the same fuel pump from day one, so I definitely didn't have fuel pump issues. And I put some bad fuel, man. Like trust me. Okay, I put some horrible fuel. I did change fuel filter a few times. That's what I did for sure. But fuel pump is still the original one, man. So it's like 190,000 kilometers fuel pump. So I'm pretty happy with my fuel pump. Uh, maybe I hope they didn't replace the change of production of the same pump, but when they cool down. I think like I believe this is like it has to be related to the fuel quality, man, because it's um it's a fuel quality thing. Because fuel nowadays is different. Okay, there's a different kind of octanes, and I believe in the US, I'm not sure where you at, but in the US this is 91 octanes and stuff like this, and bikes are supposed to run 93, but I ran like 83, man. So I'm yeah, depends, depends what your fuel is, man, because depends where it is never you never really know 100% the quality of the fuel because you don't see what they put inside your tank. You just use a fuel pump, and I mean the nozzle, and you fill up your tank, and that's it. But I put some disastrous fuel, and the bike still ran fine. So sometimes maybe it's just luck, or sometimes it's bad fuel, man. But yeah. Yeah, Carlos, the fuel pump issues that I heard as well were on the 990s and 950 models. Yes, that I heard that there was a recurring issues, but on the 1190 and the 10XX models, no, never. I didn't really hear a lot of fuel pump issues, but hopefully, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, with a 1090, uh, I mean, it's rather you have the issue right away, I would say, but like fuel pump failing like this, it's I believe KTM will probably respond in that sense, replacing your fuel pump if you have a problem with that bike. Yeah, like Carlos is saying that every 50,000 Ks in Colombia, you gotta change a fuel pump. That's what I was saying. Yeah, the fuel quality in South America is different. So okay, let's move on from the conversation. I believe Harold is asking where I'm gonna go next. So now I'm in Crete and I'm in Greece at the moment. So uh, I chose to come back here for winter because this is the place where it's probably the balmiest temperatures of all Europe. We're also the southest most point in Europe, so definitely this is the best place if you want to continue riding. And I'm gonna stay here for at least till January and ride around the island. And yeah, probably try to get some uh, help from KTM and see if I can borrow a bike or something and test it again in these terrains because Crete is a very unique island. Uh, he has the second tallest mountain in Greece, and he has a massive mountain range in the middle. Is like a rectangular uh, stripe of land in the middle of the Mediterranean. So it's quite a unique place. So we got like snow on top of the mountains, but the island width is only 60 k's, so like 40 miles. So it's a very short, like short island, but it's very long. It's like 350 k's, which is 240 miles or something. So it's a very long island, but it's very short. So if you go from top to bottom, which is usually the funniest, the most entertaining thing to do across the mountains, it's amazing. So there's some incredible off road, and you always end up on the beach. So it's quite a unique terrain. So hopefully I'll be able to ride here for another 2 months once the lockdown ease up, and then I'm gonna keep going on. I'm waiting for the COVID thing to resolve. Eventually, it will resolve, and um, yeah, just staying on the island, staying put for a while, and then hopefully continue and go back to Australia riding. So riding across Asia, that's my plan, future plan. Going to India and all sort of maybe the stands as well. So I have to still. I mean, that was my original plan when I got stuck during the first wave of coronavirus. I was on my way to Japan, so across Asia, across Russia and Mongolia, and then I got stuck with the COVID thing, and I got stuck in Crete. So, and then fast forward 6 months, I'm here again, Crete, lockdown. But this time it was a conscious choice. So I'm happy to be here. Yeah, it is a stunning island. It's amazing, and it is like his own unique realm. So it is Greece, but they don't really feel like Greek here, and they have their own set of rules too. I mean, it's sometimes is rough. Like uh, there's still people like walking around with guns. Like everybody has a gun. It's like it's like in the States, but here it's not legal. So everybody still has his own set of rules in their head. So once I was riding, I went up on the south part of the island, and so I went across the mountains, and there's this little town which is very like is known for its outlaws, apparently. So and I stopped at a taverna and had some food. I don't know. I mean, it was kind of hard to communicate with the locals because they speak Greek and I don't speak Greek, but they kind of gave me food and it was like a bunch of guys, like a young guys drinking on the like they had like maybe 20 bottles of beer and it was like 11 a.m. And one of the guys just all of a sudden like I was eating my soup and this guy stood up and pulled out his gun and he's like and it started like it cleared out his like a round of maybe 6, 7 shots in the air, like bam, 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 and put it back in his holster, and then sat down and kept drinking. I was like, okay, that's slightly unsettling, but I understand now. So it's kind of like a unique place in that sense. But people are very friendly. I mean, this was just like a unique occasion. People are usually very friendly, and there's a lot of tourism on the island as well, and they mostly live out of tourism. So it's a safe place for foreigners for sure. It is kind of a but like this comes from the past. So this place used to be the earliest European looking people were actually from Crete. The Minoans is a very ancient civilization, 3,000 years ago. So the first European looking people were actually spotted here in Crete. The Minoans and the Minotaur legends and myths and stuff like this. So this place had a very ancient history. And in the second part of the history of the island was this place was the home base of pirates because it is kind of in the middle of the Mediterranean, in between Europe and Africa and the Middle East. So lots of pirates came here and lived here or had the base here. So the island still kept a bit of the roughness of their inhabitants. So it's a very interesting place for culturally speaking. Let's see, any other question? You can jump in on the 890. We like country. Oh, what is the food like? What type of alcohol drink is popular? Okay, the food is very good. So Crete is unique compared to the other smaller islands in the Aegean Sea, which is the sea around Greece. They grow everything here because the island is massive, and as the south part always get the winds from Africa, so weather is mostly good for most of the year. And so they have like greenhouses as well, so they grow vegetables and all year long, and they have like they're famous for their small bananas, so they have bananas and avocados, so temperatures are pretty balmy here. But as most Greece, the olive oil is the most renowned products. Excellent olive oil, excellent wine. They have this amazing red wine here, and honey. Honey is another highlight. They have a lot of thyme, like the plant thyme, and the honey is delicious. Food wise, they have typical Cretan food, which is I don't know the names. I can barely pronounce at the restaurant when I'm really hungry. But they have a lot of great quality ingredients. So they make their own like a very earthy foods with absolutely top quality products, and it makes the food so delicious. It's basically homemade stuff. They have the, I know the 3 4 like the, but these are mostly in Crete, in Greece. Overall, Greece is the moussaka, which is the eggplants kind of saucy dish, and then the souvlaki and all the other dishes that you might have heard. But food is absolutely delicious here. But the olive oil and honey and cheese here are pretty good. Another unique feature of Crete is that when they do weddings here, it's usually 3,000 people. So that's a fun fact. They don't really have a ceremony as we have. Like you invite your friends and family. You invite pretty much everybody. Like your whole town is invited. So it's like usually 2,000, 3,000 people. So there's no like, the ceremony is almost irrelevant. It's like a town party, and everybody brings something. So you don't have to cater or like to provide food. It just like you, everybody brings like goat. Here we go, and somebody cooks it. So you bring whatever you produce, oil or food or animals, whatever. If you have like a small farm, most people up the mountain have a small farm, so they have their own animals and they bring it as a gift to the, you know, bride and groom. So it's pretty cool feature of the island is this massive events, weddings. Not sure with the COVID now, but they, I've been told that that's the uniqueness of the island is this. Alcohol wise, they have the you know, they drink this. I would say the, if you know grappa, or you know, it's like a very strong vodka kind of thing made out of wine. It's raki, uh, and on the island they have their own kind of quality. Same thing though, like the raki. Um, Let me see what other questions you guys have, but seems like we covered up pretty well. But the island is amazing. I mean, I've been very happy here. The sea is very, it's not rough. I miss the kind of the roughness of the ocean, which I had in Australia. Here is kind of like the calm seas, and when it's rough weather here is maybe, I don't know, 6 feet waves, and that's so it's not very big at all compared to Australia. But here it's massive, rough, uh, rough seas. So it's quite a different approach to bathing in the waters. They don't like cold waters, which I really love instead. Um, yeah, so I'm happy here on the island. Hopefully, I'll be able to do more riding in the next few weeks. Uh, let's see if you have any other questions about the bike or about the trip. But it seems that we covered it all. But you guys let me know. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Harold. Thanks, Carlos. Wow. Thanks, Carlos, for joining us. Sometimes I miss South America, mate. Yeah, South America is good. Hey, Todd, thank you very much. Thank you, Carlos. Thanks, Harold, as well. Yeah, it's The sun is popping up, but not a sunny day today. So it's gonna be rain. But yesterday we had a beautiful day. So it's on and off sometimes. It's winter, but uh, yeah, I might go for a coffee now. It's you can still go out and have a coffee, but thank you very much, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye, everybody.